The first match against Real Madrid seems to have taught nothing to Manchester City. In that game, they provoked Vinicius Jr. and ended up taking a turnaround in the final minutes. Now, near the crucial game, they have decided to adopt the same tactic. Guardiola, Haaland, From Bruyne, and even Rodrigo made comments that can be a stimulus for Vini to stand out even more in the Santiago Bernabeu. Did they forget that insulting the Brazilian can be a disastrous decision? Now, let's look at all this. However, first, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any video. This confrontation between Real Madrid and Manchester City is not limited to a Champions League knockout duel, which already makes any game grand. In the last 3 years, the winner of this confrontation ended up lifting the trophy at the end of the season. In 2021, Real Madrid reached an epic turn with amazing performances by Rodrigo and Benzema. In 2022, City prevailed. The previous year, Real won on penalties. In other words, we are in an early conclusion. What's more, as the season approaches the end, the competition for the Golden Ball begins to intensify. As this year there will be no World Cup or Euro, Champions League will be the most important tournament to determine the best player on the planet. Those who stand out in this duel have a great chance to win the prize. And who has already introduced themselves as a potential candidate? Vinicius Sobrinho. In the first confrontation, he played a crucial role, playing 2 assists in the final moments and leading Real Madrid's turn at Etihad Stadium. And that's where the controversy comes in. City players didn't like the way Vini celebrated and decided to poke the Brazilian. The first to speak was Rodrigo, criticizing Vini's celebration and calling her provocative and disrespectful. He stated, "These are things that happen on the pitch, but they should not happen. Players need to set an example to the fans and young people who dream of being here one day." Now, let's combine Rodrigo talking about setting an example, the same player who recently displayed a flag causing Vini for the Golden Ball. Irony could not be greater. And it didn't stop there. Guardiola also commented on Vinicius Jr. and made a point of recognizing the impact of the Brazilian. The first game was very difficult. Playing against Real Madrid is never easy. They are the kings of champions. We had a good time in the match, but in the final stretch we were tired and could not keep the rhythm. The defeat. Perhaps the provocations served as motivation for him. Guardiola knows that City's mission will be complicated, even more playing at Santiago Bernabeu and facing a junior Vinicius in a state of grace. But hold this, Haaland and Bruyne also entered the discussion. Haaland and Bruyne's statements show that despite provocations, City players know that Real Madrid cannot be underestimated. De Bruyne was very straightforward when commenting on the difficulty of facing the merengue club. It will never be easy to play against Real Madrid at Champions League. This team is never dead, always finds a way to go back to the game and win. These are things that only Real Madrid can do. In addition, he made a point of focusing on Vinicius, saying that City needs to neutralize Real Madrid's entire team. This only reinforces respect, or even fear, that the English cast has for the Spanish team, which always grows in the decisive moments. Already Haaland avoided mentioning Vinicius Jr. in his statement. He adopted a motivational tone and said, "City needs to believe in the turn," but his speech may indicate something else. We know what Real Madrid is capable, and we can't lose focus for a minute. We're still confident in victory. In football, nothing is impossible. Now, why has Haaland avoided talking about Vinicius? Is he bothered by comparisons? In the first game, Vini shone while Haaland hardly touched the ball. This can explain the Norwegian silence about the Brazilian. This game, besides being a duel between Real Madrid and Manchester City, can determine the next winner of the Golden Ball. There will be no World Cup, Euro, or Copa America this year, and Champions League will be the crucial factor to determine the best in the world. And Vinicius Jr. is the direct competitor. However, the last update of the Golden Ball ranking caused controversy as it put Mbappé ahead. It makes sense? Let's go to the numbers. Vinicius Jr., 30 games, 16 goals, and 12 assists, 28 goals and goals. Mbappé, 35 games, 23 goals, and 3 assists, 26 goals and goals. Even playing 5 less matches, Vini already has more direct participations in goals than Mbappé. And besides, it has been much more decisive in the big games. On the eve of the decisive confrontation, Pep Guardiola also made it clear as he wants his players to face this knockout game. In an interview released by the City Extra profile, the Spanish coach highlighted the importance of courage and offensive mindset. You have to play with courage. You have to be yourself. You have to play with amazing courage. You have to play to win the game, said the commander. In addition to reinforcing the need for an aggressive stance, Guardiola warned her athletes, avoid distractions with arbitration. According to him, spending energy arguing with the judge can divert the focus from the main objective, which is to overcome Real Madrid and seek the place in the next phase. This speech shows that Guardiola is aware of the challenges of facing Real Madrid in Bernabeu. He knows that any concentration error can be fatal against a team used to twists in Champions League. But can the City players be able to maintain this level of concentration in the face of a crowded stadium and against an opponent who always grows in decisive times? The answer will come on the field. Meanwhile, Vinicius Jr. and Real Madrid watch carefully, ready for another great duel. Now the question that remains, is City really believes that provoking Vinicius Jr. a good idea? Or are they just giving more fuel for the Brazilian to shine even more in Bernabeu? Leave your opinion in the comments. And of course, if you liked the video, you already leave your like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any content. We see each other next.